It is the 26th of March 2014. Many thanks for joining us on Ebru African News this afternoon. I'm Kamene Goro. Now we start off our bulletin in Africa, where Sierra Leone is investigating 2 suspected cases of the Ebola virus as neighboring Guinea struggle to contain an outbreak of the deadly virus. Now West Africa has been on high alert since the outbreak of the killer virus in Guinea.
Sierra Leone's Chief Medical Officer, Brima Gabo, said authorities were investigating the case of a 14-year-old boy who was buried in a Sierra Leonean village after he apparently died across the border in Guinea 2 weeks ago. Also being investigated is a patient in the northern border district of Cambia. The boy had traveled to Guinea to attend the funeral of one of the outbreak's early victims. Gabo said a medical team had been sent to test those who came into contact with the boy before his death. Ebola is spread by close contact. It kills between 25% and 90% of victims, depending on the strain of the virus. There is no known cure or vaccine. Meanwhile, Guinea has banned the sale and consumption of bats to prevent the spread of the deadly Ebola virus. Bats, a local delicacy, appeared to be the main agents for the Ebola outbreak in the south. 62 people have now been killed by the virus in Guinea.
Ethiopia is making progress on the construction of its Grand Renaissance Dam project on the Nile River. Now, the Horn of Africa as a country began diverting the Blue Nile in May 2013 to build the 6,000 megawatt dam, which will be Africa's largest when completed in 2017.
Water ministers from Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan on Monday successfully held talks on an Ethiopian dam project after Egypt's objections delayed formation of a committee to implement expert advice. Cairo fears the Grand Renaissance Dam project could diminish its water supply.
This project will equally benefit the downstream countries as it will benefit Ethiopia, equally, 50-50. So 100% will be benefited, and at the same time the downstream countries will be also benefited. How? It will be used as a flood protection structure. We are building this dam on Abai River to generate electricity.
At a meeting in Khartoum last month, ministers from the 3 nations failed to agree on the composition of the committee, which would follow through on the expert recommendations about the Grand Renaissance Dam project.
A regulated flow throughout the year. There will not be any water that will be unnecessarily spilled over the spillway of the dam already constructed on the downstream side of the Grand Renaissance Dam project. The studies already carried out in the Sudan by making a regulated flow without building any hydroelectric dams.
Ethiopia began diverting the Blue Nile in May to build the 6,000 megawatt dam, which will be Africa's largest when completed in 2017. Egypt believes its historical rights to the Nile are guaranteed by 2 treaties from 1929 and 1959, which allow it 87% of the Nile's flow and give it veto power over upstream projects. But a new deal signed in 2010 by other Nile Basin countries, including Ethiopia, allows them to work on river projects without Cairo's prior agreement. Both Sudan and Egypt have not signed the new Nile Basin deal. Sudan, like Egypt, relies on Nile resources, but it has said it does not expect to be affected by the Grand Renaissance Dam project. On Wednesday, Sudan and Ethiopia inaugurated a cross-border electricity link, which an analyst said aims to strengthen Khartoum and Addis Ababa ties after tensions with Egypt over the dam project.
Moving to North America, the death toll from a devastating weekend landslide in Washington state has risen to 24 after rescue workers recovered 2 bodies and are believed to have located 8 more.
The discovery of additional victims came as crews searched under drizzly skies for survivors amid fading hopes that anyone could be plucked alive from the massive pile of muck and debris. As many as 176 people remained listed as missing 3 days after a rain-soaked landslide collapsed on Saturday, tumbling over a river, across a state road and into a rural residential area where it swallowed dozens of houses near the town of Oso.
We recovered 2 fatalities today, and so that would bring the fatality rate to 16. We believe we've located another 8. So we're gonna stick with the number of 16 right now until those others are located and brought back to the medical examiner.
But the disaster already ranks as one of the deadliest landslides in recent U.S. history. In 2005, 10 people died when a hillside gave way and engulfed homes in La Conchita, California. Though authorities have said the chances are low of finding any more survivors in the cement-like mud blanketing the landscape, Hort said some 50 more searchers have been brought in to sift through the disaster zone in hopes of a miracle.
I consider it still a rescue operation. Absolutely, it's a rescue and a recovery operation. We haven't lost hope that there's a possibility that that we could find somebody alive in some pocket area. As the days go on and we haven't seen any loss of life, we are coming to the realization that that may not be a possibility, but we are going full steam ahead.
Compounding the sense of urgency was a sense of fear of flooding as the water levels rose behind the crude dam of mud and rubble that was dumped in the North Fork of Stilaguamish River by the slide. Meanwhile, a 22-week-old baby who was hurt in the landslide remained in critical condition in Harborview Medical Center in Seattle after being taken there by helicopter along with his mother, who was also hurt. The landslide was not the first to hit an inhabited area in Washington state. More than 100 houses were destroyed by a slow-moving landslide in the town of Kelso in the late 90s.
In the Middle East, 6 soldiers and 3 civilians were killed in northeast Baghdad yesterday when a suicide bomber rammed his explosive-laden tanker into a security checkpoint.
Video footage showed the wreckage of the vehicle used by the suicide bomber and other damaged vehicles. This was one of a series of attacks across Iraq since Tuesday killed at least 29 people, mostly members of the security forces. Police said gunmen attacked an army post in Tamir town, just north of Baghdad, killing 8 soldiers and wounding 13. In further attacks, a car bomb exploded in western Baghdad, killing 4 people and wounding 12 others. And a bomb blast near a market in Baghdad's southern suburbs killed 1 person and wounded 5 others. In the northern city of Mosul, gunmen sprayed an army checkpoint with bullets, killing 5 soldiers.
Search efforts for the missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 have resumed following improved weather conditions. Now 6 countries, Australia, New Zealand, the US, Japan, China and South Korea, are sending aircraft and ships to the search area.
Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott says authorities are doing everything possible to search for the missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. He also said Australia was ready to assist the families of the missing passengers in any possible way. Australia has been coordinating the multinational search that is now focused on a remote area of the ocean, some 1,500 miles to the southwest of the Australian city of Perth.
God is my shepherd.
Meanwhile, a church vigil for the 239 people on board flight MH370 was held yesterday in Kuala Lumpur, a day after Prime Minister Najib Razak's announcement that the flight had ended in the southern Indian Ocean. People all over the world had held out hope for as long as possible and given moral support to the families of the missing passengers. But now that hope has turned to grief and sorrow, people of all colors and religions showed their support in Kuala Lumpur, capital of Malaysia, for the heartbroken relatives and friends.
And many churches around the country, I'm sure, are keeping vigil and encouraging people to just pray, for that's all we can do.
Prime Minister Razak has proposed to fly Malaysia's flags at half-mast in the capital in memory of those on board flight MH370, but only if and when there is any physical evidence of the aircraft.
22 on the nose.
Certainly committed to keep on looking for the wreckage, and I think we all expect them to put every effort in trying to find as much of the plane as possible and finding the evidence in the black box, so to speak.
Experts say that even if debris is found, it could be months or years before the plane itself and its flight recorders are recovered.
Crimea's Tatar ethnic minority is holding a referendum to decide if they want to be a part of Ukraine or Russia following Moscow's seizure of the Black Sea Peninsula.
Tatars in Crimea weigh their future. Now the head of Tatars' main assembly is saying they are considering holding their own referendum to decide whether to be part of Ukraine or Russia.
If we acknowledge that the referendum is the mechanism for others to determine what they want, and it is the main tool for this, then we will search for possibilities of holding our own referendum.
Any such vote would be a challenge to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who last week signed documents formally incorporating Crimea into Russia.
The Crimean Tatars will have to determine where, on their land, they see their future.
Repeatedly referring to Ukraine as, quote, our country, he left no doubt about his own feelings over Russia's annexation of Crimea, a move unrecognized and condemned by Kiev and the West, which reacted by introducing sanctions on Moscow. The Tatars were nearly wiped out on Moscow's orders, first by the Tsars and then by the Soviets.
Syrian rebels continue to battle for northern areas in the coastal province of Latakia, the heartland of President Bashar al-Assad's Alawite minority.
A symbolic rebel victory in the coastal province of Latakia that has been a stronghold for Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The video, which cannot be independently verified by Reuters, comes as rebels continue their advance in the north. The fight goes on as rights groups say 14 government fighters and 6 rebels were killed in fighting in the area. After months of setbacks in central Syria, Islamist rebels launched an offensive Friday into the Latakia region, taking control of a border crossing near Turkey. Since then, Assad has launched a military offensive leading to heavy fighting across the strip of territory along the Turkish border, in a war now entering its 4th year with more than 140,000 killed.
In South America, thousands of wildcat gold miners in Peru are camping in Lima's downtown as a way of protesting against the government's crackdown on illegal and informal mining.
Informal gold miners have been camping in Lima's downtown for a week. Other groups have been blocking roads in the country's southern area. The thousands of gold miners who have camped in Lima are protesting against the mandatory regularization of their sector conducted by the Peruvian government. The government blames the illegal and informal mining for the destruction of much of the Amazon forest and pollution of the rivers, and has set April the 19th as the ultimatum for workers to regularize their situation in accordance to the law. But Celso Chagua, Secretary General of the National Federation of Peru's artisanal miners, accuses the government of seeking to liquidate artisanal mining in favor of large-scale mining and foreign transnational mining.
That story wraps up our afternoon bulletin for you today. Join me at 9 p.m. for our primetime bulletin and a more comprehensive look on what will transpire in our world today. I'm Kamene Goro, and many thanks for staying tuned to Ebru Africa TV. Until 9 p.m., do have yourself a splendid afternoon.
Line Limited, your one-stop shop for elegant and comfortable office furniture. New Line responds to your expectations for office furniture in a modern language. We offer a 5-year warranty period including unit transfers within Nairobi. For more information, visit our showroom at Chester House, Loiter Street, Nairobi. New Line Limited, your success partner.
Floma, professional makeup.
Does your exterior complement your interior? Everyone needs a home that is inspired by nature. At Yenbo Limited, we offer durable, energy-efficient and affordable UPVC windows in attractive colors. Visit us at Wall Street Business Park off Mombasa Road. Yenbo UPVC windows, your desire, our challenge.
New Line Limited, we offer current, stylish, state-of-the-art kitchen and wardrobe appliances tailored to suit your preference. We offer unit transfers within Nairobi. Let your kitchen stand out today by visiting us at Chester House, Loiter Street. Your comfort and satisfaction comes first.
Floma, professional makeup.